Howdy y'all, welcome to another one of our basic gymnastic skills videos. Today we are going to be talking about some basic skills on trampoline. As always with these, I want y'all to make sure that you are doing them with the guidance of a certified coach in a safe and up-to-date facility. This is not something for you to just go play around with at home. And please make sure that you are following the progressions on trampoline especially. It is so easy to accidentally lose your control and go right off the side of the equipment. So you always want to make sure that you have someone there to keep an eye on you and guide your training, and that you are only doing things that you know you're safe doing. So the first thing we need to talk about on trampoline is the anatomy of the bed. As you can see here in front of me, there are some lines that are closer to the outside, and then in the middle we have a smaller square with a plus sign in the middle of it. The way a modern trampoline like this is built, the further to the outside you get, the more it is going to throw you back in towards the center. So in order to avoid accidentally being thrown further than you expected to and losing control, you want to try and keep all of your bouncing as much on top of that plus sign as possible. When you're bouncing on your feet, you want to keep your feet on top of the plus sign, and when you start doing drops and other skills with landing on other parts of your body, your hips need to stay on top of the plus sign. Now I'm going to introduce you to Pablo, who's our student who's helping us out today. Hello. You can see some of the things that Pablo is wearing. First off, he has his lovely trampoline shoes on. These help keep him from getting his toes caught in the little holes on the mesh. That's a very important safety thing. Also, for many of us, we have a little bit of problems with the bed scraping up our knees. So Pablo has his knee pads that he wears to help keep that from happening. These are not required, but they can be very helpful if that's something that bothers you. All right, so the first thing Pablo is going to show us is just a couple of bounces to a safe landing position. This is the most important thing to learn how to do on trampoline, because this is how you stop when you're getting out of control. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3. And when he freezes, he's got his knees bent, he's got his feet slightly apart, he's got his hips bent, and his arms are straight out in front of him. Can you show us that one more time? 3 bounces. And freeze in a nice freeze position. And you see how having those knees and hips bent absorbs the bed's motion immediately, and you stop bouncing. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is practicing some tight body bouncing. This is just a straight body position. There's a couple of different things you can do with your arms. You can have them at your side in a soldier position. You can go straight up by your ears in a pencil. And you can go out to the side in a T. When you do the T, you want to try and keep your wings from flapping. Try to keep your heels together. Point your feet as they come off the trampoline. And go ahead and freeze. Then once you're comfortable with bouncing like that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add arm motion. So he is going to stand with his feet together. Arms are going to be straight out to the side in that T position. And he's going to start circling them backwards. What I mean by that is they come up in the front and down in the back. The bigger he makes the circle, the higher it starts to carry him off the bed. And he bounces higher and higher, but if he's getting out of control, he can freeze it just like that. Something you can do for fun with this one is you can take 3 to 5 bounces to get height, and then you can have somebody on the ground start a timer for you and see how long you can stretch 10 bounces in the air to. So then we're going to start talking about positional jumps. These are jumps that hit a position other than the straight body in the air. So the first positional jump we do is a tuck jump. The goals with this are keep your legs together, pull your knees all the way up to your chest, point your feet. Yep, just like that, but with both legs. So let's see what it looks like in the air. Yep. Can you do a couple more? Yep, trying to keep your knees together. Very nice, go ahead and freeze. And in a few minutes we'll talk about adding a kick out to that in our next video, but you can start out with just learning the shapes and then add the kick out once you're comfortable with that. Next shape we're going to do is a pike shape. This is legs straight, heels and toes together, and feet pointed. Yep, just like that, but with both legs. There we go. If you're not comfortable with going all the way hands to toes like that, you can start out with a larger angle in your pike. Instead of being all the way closed like this, you can be more open. But obviously, eventually the goal is to get to being able to touch your feet or your lower legs as you reach forward. Then the next jump we do is the straddle shape. This is just like the pike, except instead of having your legs together, they are spread out to the side. We want to do a straddle pike and not a Russian straddle where you bring your legs up sideways. Very nice. Next thing we're going to do is a couple of twisting jumps. When you twist, for 99% of people, the correct direction to twist is going to be towards your favorite arm for your handstands and your cartwheels, and your favorite foot for that. So if you like to put your right foot in front for your handstands and cartwheels, you'll twist to look towards your right side. If you prefer to put your left foot in front for your handstands and cartwheels, you'll twist to look towards your left side. Pablo is a lefty, so he's going to show us some half twists to the left. You stand tall, arms up by your ears, and you turn from your toes. Go again. Yep. And you'll notice he kind of throws his arms out wide at the end. That's because he's getting a good amount of twist in there, and throwing the arms out wide helps you slow down. Yep. Go ahead and turn back to face front. Next thing he's going to show us is his full twist. Same concept, just keeping that tall stretch shape a little bit longer, so you twist all the way around. Go ahead. Yep, remember to turn from the toes. Very nice. And then our next thing that we learn after we learn our basic jumps is we learn our basic drops. These are useful for a variety of things. They can help you learn how to land on the trampoline safely if you are falling. There are some skills that they are used in, and then your front drop and your back drop in particular, there are more advanced trampoline skills that also take off from these positions. So the first drop that we always learn is the seat drop. This is you jump up to a pike shape and land in a sitting position with your legs in front of you. One thing that is very important to pay attention to with your seat drop is that your fingertips stay pointing forward towards your toes. If you turn your hands backwards or sideways, you can lock your elbows and you run the risk of injuring them. Just like that. Also, you'll notice that as he comes down, his hips are landing where his feet took off from, which is exactly what we want. Very nice. All right. Our next drop that we learn is the doggy drop. Now, really quick, Pablo, will you turn sideways and show us the doggy drop position? So just crawl down to it, basically. Yeah, there we go. So you'll notice with this, number one, his back is straight or rounded a little upward. It's not sagging down. His elbows are nice and straight and pushing on the trampoline. They're not going to bend when he hits. And his bottom is off his heels. He's lifted it up to rotate into this position instead of sitting back like that. Very good. All right, go ahead, stand up, face towards us, and show us what it looks like in action. So you jump and drop just like that. And because your hips should be directly over your knees are going to land on that plus sign. One more time. Awesome job. All right. Then our next drop, we need to talk about the position first again. So we are going to do a tummy drop. For this, you lay down on your tummy. Your hands are going to come together under your chin to protect yourself from the bed. The reason for this is because, go ahead and just reach forward like sometimes people do. If you do that, your natural instinct is going to be to pull your head up to keep your chin from hitting the netting. That arches your back, and it's not what we want because it can hurt your back. So we put our hands under our chin so that we can keep our head neutral. And then you're going to bend your knees just a little bit to pull your feet up towards the ceiling and point those feet. All right, so the way we learn the tummy drop to start out with is you begin in your knee drop position. Yep, sorry about that, should have warned you. Hands on the ground, just like that. And then from there, you just fall forward into your tummy drop. Go ahead. Where should your feet be? Good. All right, then you start from a stand and you go drop to the doggy, and then from there drop to the tummy. Doggy, tummy. Yep. And once you're comfortable with that and you're really doing a good job of hitting it every time, you can start practicing falling straight to your tummy from a stand. Very nice. All right, now let's talk about the backdrop. Again, let's start with the position. Go ahead and turn sideways so that we can see your position. You lay down on your back, you point all four at the sky. And yes, you can slightly reach towards your knees with your hands. Pull your knees a little bit in closer. There we go. Round your back up a little bit more by pulling your head off the bed. There we go. And heels up a little bit higher. That sort of position is what we want, or you can also do a straight leg backdrop position, which looks more like toes directly at the ceiling. Yep, like that. All right, go ahead and stand on up. The easiest way to learn your backdrop is you start at the front line of the trampoline, all the way up to the front. And remembering what we said earlier, that any directional motion you give to the trampoline, it'll give back to you. You're going to put your arms straight out in front of you. You're going to lift one foot up and imagine you're kicking a football, and the other foot's going to slip on a banana peel as you kick the football. And that puts you to your back, and then the trampoline pops you right back up. Just like that. Once you have mastered that, you can start trying to jump from 2 feet. And when you're comfortable jumping backwards from 2 feet and being bounced forward, you can start standing in the middle and start trying to just jump straight up and rotate to put your hips right where you took off from. Very nice. All right. And those are all of the basic trampoline skills. Eventually we will talk about connecting them, but for now, go ahead and work on mastering those.